And that's the distinction. I feel like that's the time we're in. It's like we have a factory of people who have power, who probably don't know they got that power. You know what I'm saying? And then clout chasers who essentially usurp that power, in effect, to use it for their own personal benefit type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that's uncommon. And I think that's always been the case. I don't think it's anything new. I just think that it's the people who have the power and have their own power, you know, individualistic or in a group setting. I think it's those folks who have to acknowledge that they have that power. And not let it be, you know, convoluted, or not let it be, you know, ran amok, you know what I mean, on some fugazi type. Cause like, what? That's what I'm saying. Imagine chasing to be, you know, I understand there's archetypes, but imagine like chasing to try to be something when you have, you know, your own thing to become. You have your own, you know, journey to unfold. You know what I mean? It's like, teach his own, but it's like the brain, you use it or lose it. You know what I mean? It was like, if you don't pour into it, into your mind or into your spirit, your body, it's like, you know, then inadvertently you can't harness that power. So then ultimately we arrive at the state we are presently, where it's like, okay, it's a couple folks with power, and there's several cloud chasers, and it's, you know, people who appear to be powerful that are actually cloud chasers, and it's like this whole chaotic hodgepodge of like what the Boma Clarice type shit, you know what I mean? Type of shit, what the rise clod, you know what I mean? But it's like, I think it's a call to, you know, one's own personal journey to, you know, distinguish between what are you? Are you a worker? And not just a worker in the sense of like, oh, I got a boss, or, you know, because I don't subscribe to, you know, I understand like the notion of like wanting to be one's own boss, you know what I mean? But even a boss, one's own boss has to answer to someone, even if it's their own self, or even if it's their own platform or concept of what they've created for themselves, or the vision they have for themselves. Like, we all got to answer to something or someone, a higher power, you know what I mean? But are you a worker? Are you one who puts in that effort to genuinely create something? Or are you a clout chaser? You know what I mean? One who tries to get in proximity to those who are actually doing something. Because I've helped a lot of people over my years, mad people. And for the most part, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them would be more subscribed to the notion of clout chasing. Like, you know what I'm saying? The kind of, you know, cheer at the end of the race types. You know what I mean? But not necessarily wanting to really do the work alongside or with, you know what I mean? Or try to work a little bit to get just enough so that they can try to go do their own thing without giving propers to whom they, you know, who they got it from, or whatever the case may be. And that's been kind of the case, like, throughout a lot of my like human experience in this, like, in this realm. But it's not here nor there. But that's the thing. I'm a worker. I work to create the power I wish to have for myself, and create the legacy I wish to build for my future. So if I know that to be self-evident, then it's like I don't know. I don't like stupid shit. I don't like smoke and mirrors type corny shit, unless I'm creating it within the context of, you know, a story or film, or, you know, where it's like suspense and you want to create that kind of, you know, perception. But in real time, it's like, yo, this shit already chaotic enough where you have to kind of like navigate and circumnavigate and, you know, deconstruct and analyze and assess and compute and all this extra ish that you gotta kind of, you know, draw conclusions about. Don't need extra smoke and mirrors. So it's like, I'd rather do the work. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we fall short of that. Sometimes we slip up, you know. You know, life happens. Things happen. You know, spirit is amorphous. Like, that does not, you can't contextualize that shit to a box. We could try. But if we're connected to the infinite, then how the spirit gonna be? That's what I'm saying. It's like you force it into a box. It's already in a box, being that we have to, you know, exist within this body. You know what I'm saying? But the truth of the matter is, it's something that exists far outside of just that body, the 3D. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why would I want to just get the power by taking someone else's power? You know what I mean? When I could not only do the work, but, you know, shit, it's cool as hell, like vibrational. You know what I mean? It's like I said, some people are just it. You know, some people just got it in a certain kind of area. You know what I'm saying? But that's the person who recognized their power and they followed that shit and they did the work behind it, not trying to get close to somebody else. May have you. You know what I'm saying? So I ask again, which one would you say that you are? You know? Are you trying to get close to someone who got it, proximity to power, or are you aiming to do the work within the field that you know is ordained? It's designed for you, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or maybe that's just your role. If you can't see anything or any purpose within yourself to be like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do, this is what I'm supposed to connect with and connect with like minds within that, then it's like, yo, maybe that's your role. You're supposed to play the antithesis of those who have. And sometimes that's where you get to the haters and shit. You know, oh shit, my battery about to die and all that. But, you know what I'm saying? I got to change the battery out. But yo, Shemaine Man and more, man. We here live from the dwell, man. Come on, dwell with me. You know what I'm saying? We here just kind of chopping and pondering on the elements and the connections of life and whatnot. You know what I mean? But if you haven't already, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? For Life Films on all the various platforms, whatever the case may be, may have you. And, you know, we're going to chime in. We always going to keep chiming in, man. It's your main man and more, man. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you show love. Maybe comment on some of your perspectives of how people have shown you or how in your life you've seen the distinction between the person who clout chasing or the person who really doing the work. You know what I mean? Until then, it's your main man and more. It's always love. Peace.